Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 2 of this Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4. This is the Kaiserreich mod. We are the army with a state, Germany, once again. We fought through and won the Renaissance, the Age of Discovery, the, Enlightenment, and then through to World War I, won that, and now we are kind of the victorious state in the run-up to World War II. We are in the position that the Allies were previously. We've kind of grown a little bit complacent. Our armies have stopped getting their highly toned military edge, and we've kind of reverted a little bit. Meanwhile, our enemies rather, all around us are beginning to rise again. We have the Union and Britain without any of their dominions. These all actually belong now to the Dominion of Canada. Canada having taken on the royalist mantle that Britain used to be. The Commune of France is allied with the Socialist Republic of Italy. The Italian Federation and the Austrian Empire both allied with us. Most of these countries over here are puppets, including Ukraine, which seems to actually have a pretty large army, which is nice. And yeah, we have a huge colonial empire. So we are going to be in the position that Britain was in, one, having to try and defend this huge empire, and two, being able to draw upon the resources from it. Now, one of the things that I am a little bit concerned about is we are not Britain. We do not have as much stuff as they do, although we do, if we check here, have a pretty impressive navy, 249 vessels to say they're 160-ish. France has 75, Italy, very few, 50. Socialists, 30-odd. How much has the USA got? No, US has actually got quite a few, though virtually no soldiers, which is interesting. So what I'm thinking of doing is basically building up a navy and preparing for a war against Britain. I think that this will be the first place that we strike. So I'm going to start developing basically two types of soldiers. One, which is going to be designed to just hold the line against France. They're going to have the heavy tanks, they're just going to be entrenched to hell, and they're just going to sit and hold. The second army will be slightly more mobile, slightly more aggressive, and their designation will be to take over the UK. So we will also need some marine divisions as well, I think. So we are using a lot of oil. That's because we were going for a very tank-heavy plan. I think we're actually going to dial the tanks down a bit so we're not using quite so much oil. I think we're going to have to go down to 2. And we're using a lot of oil on the ships. Yes, that is true. In fact, no, we'll stay with the 4 on here because I still want a lot of tanks. Yeah, it'll have to do. We are building synthetic refineries, so we should start getting some oil supplies. Now, in the last episode, I did kind of comment on how this has changed, and I've spent the time between episodes kind of investigating this and having a look. The ministers look like a pretty cool system. I think that is determined through events and things mostly, although you can change the ministers yourself. So, for example, our head of government, we have all of these different options, the different heads of government being determined by the party which is in power, which at the moment is the DKP, and which parties you have banned. You can basically select between them once you've hit 150 political power. So currently our head of government is Franz von Papen. Now, none of these actually have any differences that I can tell, and I suspect that is because they simply haven't put them in yet. So the ministers work that way. Then you can add various theorists. Companies work in the same way, and you saw in the research tree in the last episode that there are a lot of companies that you can unlock later on, and these are already developed, and they do have the various designations. So, for example, Krupp Projects is expert, so you get plus 15% military and civilian factory construction speed, versus Vereinigte Stahlwerke AG, which is plus 10 of each because they're regular versus expert. And that works for most of the industries in that same way, so we probably won't start with Krupp. Yeah, has completed focus Krupp project, so we haven't got that yet. And you can pretty much customize as you wish how your kingdom, your nation rules. Now, I wonder if it's possible to have both of these, for example, to then add 25% additional production. Probably is the answer, though, of course, the more factories or the more companies that you focus in a certain area means that you will be lagging behind in other areas. So even if our industry is amazing, then we will have invested less in, say, how strong our air force is or how good our artillery production is and that type of thing. Military staff works in a very similar way to the government ministers, but these guys do actually have stats, and they do have different levels of skill as well. And it seems to be different parties have different people. So this guy is authoritarian Democrat. So as long as we haven't banned them, we can bring this guy in. If we look for other Weltkrieg Doctrine guys, I don't know if it's going to be everything. There's one. So that was... Oh, he's a regular, so is he. So we could actually have 2 Weltkrieg Doctrine people. No, because he's the chief of army. You can only have one of those, and then you have the 3 military high commands, which... Let's see. Cavalry defense expert. He is authoritarian Democrat. Can we see any other cavalry defense? Cavalry defense, cavalry defense. Let's charge. Cavalry defense, regular. There we go, and he's a national populist. So if we did ban the national populists, then we couldn't use that. And that is important because they have also brought in party popularity, which is another thing that you can change. If we click on that, you can see that we are currently average party popularity. This is not something you can actually do. You can see that always false. You can't actually change these. But I think they will change through event once you hit a certain threshold. So if our party popularity goes below 20% popularity, then the daily power gain will go from 0.5 to 0.1. However, our party popularity is actually 62% right now, and the maximum of this is 40 to 60. So it looks like we're going to jump up to high party popularity very soon. At least that's the way I'm reading it, which would be quite nice. And the other one that taps into that is the average stability. Now, stability is determined by the number of political power points you actually have. So for average stability, we just need zero political points, basically. If we wanted to go up to good stability, we would need to earn at least 150, and if we go below 0, then it's going to drop back down to average. It is possible to go backwards. So if we're looking at disaster, for example, that can kick in if you're at minus 500. Is there something lower than disaster? No. If it goes below minus 400, then you hit disaster. And you'll have to get to... No, sorry. If you go below minus 500, then you go to a disaster. If you get it above minus 400, then you go to very low stability. So there was one of the nations which had that massive penalty to power points, and that's probably because they are going to have stability issues. Which is kind of interesting, and the stability adds quite a lot of bonuses. So if we're looking at good stability, for example, reduces the amount of consumer goods that you're needing, increases factory output, and increases national unity. That's awesome. But if you're in disaster, for example, massively increases the number of consumer goods you have, that you require, reduces your production efficiency, your factory output, your division organization, and your national unity. And I'm going to suspect that there's events and things tied to all of that as well. So one of these guys had the national spirit, which means that they are likely... There we go. Decentralized state. That's one of them. So Italy, for example, is going to be struggling a little bit with that. Could have sworn there was someone else. Russia. Soviet threat. Divided military... No, it's not Russia. I don't think the Ottomans have them yet. Commune of Britain, I don't think... Was it USA? No. Canada? It was Canada. So Canada has the divided government, and it has the Anglo-French tensions, which means it is losing one political power at the moment. So if they let their stability drop more, then Canada runs the risk of dropping in stability, which could then tear apart the dominions, I guess. So that is kind of interesting. Right, what else do we need to do? The other thing that I have noticed is that we do actually have a rather large air force, and this would allow us to free up some manpower. So we've already got 4,000 manpower just from doing that. So we're going to drop by in the various air bases that we have got and just cancel those, and then we can reposition them if and when war actually breaks out and put them where we need them. Thankfully we do have a nice well-trained army, so we don't need to rely too heavily on building more troops, but at least we now have a little bit of leeway. The ones who are assigned to carriers, we will leave that way. So apparently we actually have a pretty big carrier fleet, which should all be sailing into Kiel, actually, because that is what we left things at. Alright, let's start tracking through time. We have no resources, we're not training anyone, we're basically just letting stuff build, especially the synthetic factories. Kaiserreich Alpha 0.2. The Kaiserreich team proudly presents Alpha 0.2 of our Kaiserreich Hearts of Iron 4 project. 4 months now, our team has worked from every corner of the world to bring you the product you are now playing. We hope you will enjoy it as much as we do. First off, there are several things we'd like to point out regarding our new mechanics. If you check the politics tab, your country will see I've added all kinds of new slots and other bits. That's precisely what we've been going through. This is the foundation of our new political system, which will be expanded upon in the future. Keep in mind that your stability level is directly influenced by your political power balance. Positive power points, good. Negative power points, bad. So keep an eye on that. You should also keep in mind that the mod is designed with the assumption that the player will always annex all possible states in peace treaties, so you should make sure to do that. Finally, we would like to remind you that this is still a very early alpha, so expect bugs, crashes and various headaches in this version, and if you encounter any of these, please report them on the Kaiserreich forums, our public Discord channel or the section on the Paradox forums. Have fun. Gets event, meet the team. Or tell me more about the stability system. Tell me about the stability system. I'll take the 5 power points. Kaiserreich for Hearts of Iron 4 introduces a new mechanic, the stability system. Stability is present in all form of laws from which you see your political screen next to the trade laws. These are influenced by your political power. Having under -60 will make you a potential target to get to low stability. -200 very low and -500 you're a disaster. You want to avoid that, trust me. On the contrary, we'll have to go up very low stability for above -400, to low stability if you're above -100, and to average stability if you are above 0. The mechanic to go up to good and very good stability is a bit different. You have to get 150 power points and then you'll be eligible for an event asking you if you want to go up in stability and spend those 150 power points or not. You'll then lose the positive stability levels if you happen to go under 0. Please keep in mind that the events adding or removing your stability don't instantly fire and can take up to 45, 90, 110 or even 200 days to fire if you're unlucky. So try and get that power point up again as quickly as possible. Finally, if you happen to forget what you read here, and you're able to see the requirements for each level as tooltips if you hover over the stability ideas in the law screen. But there is no reason you wouldn't forget them, right? Oh, now we lose it. Oh man. Many thanks to the Kaiserreich Hearts of Iron 4 team. Kala, Zaraphosus, Nijato, Esmeria, Firefly, Rebican, Deadlift, Pinback, Monarchist Kaiser, PP, Cyrus, Hyro, Selim, Dr. Painkiller, Chief Excellence, Mark, Mustaline, Packard, Battle Sarge, Matt the Czar, that's a kind of cool name, Micus, Vincent DN, Phil, Al Yummy, MW, Alganis, Gibbsit, The Black Winds, Winnerdot, Zankoas, Tatiana, Minda, Cultural Marxist, and our beloved Kaiserbot. Great job, lads. Special thanks. Special thanks to people. Okay, I'm reading enough. High party popularity. Civilian support for the ruling party has reached quite a high level, which influences our political power. We are now up to 0.75. Now, because party popularity seems to be rather more important, I'm actually kind of tempted. Oh, we have special decisions to try and get someone who can boost party popularity, but of course these guys don't actually do anything yet, so I kind of suspect that's not going to be possible. So how do I improve my own party popularity? Oh, I bet it's through the focuses, isn't it? Yeah, it must be. Imperial restructuring, political power, Kaiserbund. Bund, it means league, so it's like the Imperial League, Kaiserbund. That was the best translation that I could find. I did look between episodes for that. Okay, cool. So everyone is doing their thing. We are starting to sort out equipment. We're starting to make a couple of surpluses. Profits from legation cities. Following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanjing signed in November of that year, foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast under a joint control of the world powers owning interests in China. The independence of these consortium of cities was guaranteed by the major local and international powers such as the Qing Empire, Algost ASEAN GmbH, Algost ASEAN GmbH, Japan is not a company, Australia, Canada, United States and Germany. Foreign investment in legation cities themselves flourishes not only through foreign trade but also thanks to smuggling into Algost ASEAN and Qing territories. Despite ongoing economic crisis, our investment in legation cities are still bringing us grand profit. National spirit, profits from legation cities, which grants consumer goods factories -5%, factory output 5%, and 20 political power. Marvellous. Thank you so much. So construction is proceeding. These things are pretty expensive, though, if I remember right. Yeah, 8,750 compared to a factory, which is it's actually not that much more. The Constitution of the German Reich, signed in 1871 after the crushing defeat of the Second French Empire by forces of the North German Federation between representatives of the North German Federation and our 4 southern German states. This constitution was a cornerstone for enlarging North German Federation, thus giving the enlarged new entity a new identity as the Deutsche Reich. According to the constitution, head of state, or a president of the Confederation bearing the title of German Emperor, is the King of Prussia as the president of the Bundesrat, the Council of Representatives of the German states. The Emperor installs the Chancellor, the head of government. Laws are enacted by the Bundesrat and the Reichstag, the Imperial Diet, elected by male Germans above the age of 21 years. However, it is the Emperor, not the Bundesrat or Reichstag, who holds power in the German Empire, with an option to dissolve Reichstag when he wishes so. It is clear that the main political power in the German Empire rests not in the Reichstag as the ultimate expression of people's will, but in the hands of the unelected German Emperor. The constitution guarantees stability, at least. So I guess the different nations have their own event, which kind of describe their own government systems, as obviously this is an alternate history, and it's kind of cool to know that stuff. I really like the theme and the setting and like the environment that this evokes. Ooh. The assassination of President Kerensky, the president of the Russian Republic, ever since its inception in 1917, Alexander Kerensky has just been shot and killed while on the way to the Senate. The assailant was taken down by the police, but the goals and intentions of the attack are unknown. Despite his massive unpopularity among the Russian people due to a botched land reform and ineffective rule, Kerensky was nevertheless able to hold the country together for years, and his death has thrown Russia into chaos. The senators are already discussing a possible replacement for Kerensky. New coalitions are being formed both between the left and the right, while military men like Denikin, Wrangel and Kornilov are just one step away from intervening to dissolve democracy and save Mother Russia. How barbaric. So do they now have a national... political instability. -10 national unity and daily political power cost. I like how all these intertwining mechanics work. This is really, really clever. This is me, the designer, going, ooh, this is amazing. This is so cool. I love seeing new systems and stuff built like this. Alright. Payment of the Brest-Litovsk reparations. With stagnation of our economy and worsening conditions of our citizens during 1935, our government has decided that in order to restart our economy we need additional cash. Only available option is to amass sufficient capital to help our economy was to force the Russian state to prematurely repay the remaining reparations from the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. During the Berlin Conference in November 1935, President Alexander Kerensky, together with Prime Minister Pavel Mikhailov, were forced to accept the premature payment of Brest-Litovsk reparations. With drastic austerity measures, the Russian government was able to prematurely repay the remaining parts. Yeah. They paid. Oh, I didn't check what I actually gave. Sorry. There are only so many times I wanted to say repayment. Repayment. Yeah, they paid. I got it. Thanks. A little bit long-winded. I don't really know what preparations I can make, because I don't know where fights are going to come from. Okay, most of our ships have gathered. Is that all of them, I wonder? Let's group you all. Have you all made it? No. The Chinese fleet is still on the way. Oh, they're just off the coast of Brittany, in fact. So they're nearly here. And we have the Kiel canal, so we can get through nice and easily. You have an aircraft carrier. In fact, you have 2 of them. Okay, so all of our fleets have now arrived. Marvellous. So we have got 6 carriers, 34 battleships, 19 battle cruisers, 13 heavy cruisers, 37 light cruisers, and 108 destroyers. Now, doing as I regularly would as Britain, we kind of need to sort out precisely where these guys are positioned. So I think the carriers are going to be in the Pacific Fleet. Now, where do we actually need to defend? This is a big question. Africa, in fact. We're going to need Africa. We're going to have to really defend the Mediterranean. I think that's going to be a significant area of conflict. Indonesia will need a fair amount. So I think we'll send the carriers off to Indonesia to defend our Chinese and Singaporean and Indonesian holdings. And then we'll probably have a larger battleship, battlecruiser fleet in the Mediterranean with a number of destroyers. And then basically the remnants to defend this area, so the Baltic, Eastern North Sea, and possibly the English Channel in preparation for an invasion there. So, let's create a new fleet. Let's grab all of the... There we have 32 subs. We'll create the subs first. We'll just call you Submarines, because I am really feeling creative. And then we're going to grab all of the carriers, together with a number of the battle cruisers. I think we'll bring out the older battle cruisers for the Pacific. Now, battle cruisers are good because they're quicker. Though I don't actually know the speed of the carriers. So it goes. Yeah, that'll do. Battleships. Do we want to send any battleships? I think I'm going to leave the battleships home. I think the battleships will be fighting mostly in the Mediterranean. Alright, so we want heavy cruisers. Those are destroyers. Here's heavy cruisers. We'll send a group of you. We'll send a group of the light cruisers. And then a bunch of destroyers. Some of the older ones, preferably. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them mixed in. We'll send 30 destroyers. Whoops, that was some more heavy cruisers. That'll do. So you are the Pacific Fleet. Which we are going to base out of one of these ports. You're a level 4, you're level 8. I think you're going to be based out of Singapore. Alright. I'll just let you sail off. There we go. Then you will just place somewhere else, just so you are somewhere else. Sure, you can be in Mecklenburg. Alright. Mediterranean fleet. Now this is one of the really important ones. This is going to be primarily battleships. I think we'll send 12, 13 of you. That'll be fine. And then we want destroyers, because this is going to be where a lot of submarines are going to be hunting us, I think. And then some light cruisers too for anti-air. Probably need a lot of light cruisers here. Any battle cruisers? Yeah, we'll put a couple of battle cruisers, some of the older ones again. Send you with 4 battle cruisers, and then you can be the Med Fleet. And you're going to be based out of Cyprus as our only base over here. Okay, we're going to have to upgrade you. Crete. Sorry, not Cyprus, that's Crete, clearly. Okay, and then finally, this is the main battle fleet, which is going to be protecting the homelands and possibly going after Britain, unless we need to send you elsewhere. Potentially the Red Sea. Yeah, I kind of doubt the Mediterranean fleet's going to be able to protect all of that. You're also going to be responsible for a large area, so the Pacific fleet might need to be split in half. We may need some smaller ships out by India. Let's grab some smaller ships in India. So again, you can be faster. Send 3 of those. A couple of the destroyers. And you're going to be India. Not expecting much fighting to be going on over here. And then we are dividing our fleet up a lot. What was the other area I needed to defend? Red Sea. Six battleships, no battle cruisers, a couple of destroyers. We'll build more destroyers and they'll go into this fleet. And I think a couple of light cruisers actually from here. Then you are the Red Sea fleet. So our Med fleet doesn't need to worry about this. And you can be based out of one of these. Which will be you. Alright, cool. Unless there's a naval base here. There is. But that's a little bit dangerous and a little bit exposed. No, we'll send you down to there. That's fine. Okay, and then the battle fleet is the main fleet. And the main fleet is where most of these ships should be going to. Okay, good. Onwards. I'm happy with that. Black Monday, here we go. On the 3rd of February 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking. It plunged. Fueled by the instability, the market panic selling erupted as soon as the stock market opened on Monday morning. It took well into the night for the teleprinters to stop spluttering, and the results of what became known as Black Monday. When the results had been analysed, it was clear the situation had become desperate overnight. Why is that a question? It's a statement. Mein Gott! Aftermath of Black Monday, which grants production efficiency minus 20. Oh, cap. Factory output of minus 50. Construction speed minus 60. Political power minus 200. And we get the run on the banks event. Crap. Especially this political power. That's going to mean some serious instability. Run on the banks. And France shows its true face. German citizens, panicked by the collapse of the Berlin stock market, are rushing to make bank withdrawal their assets. The banks cannot afford to give out such sums, and many are in danger of collapse. Many are clamouring for immediate government intervention to stabilise this unprecedented financial crisis. So we can close the banks temporarily, which gives us minus 140 political power. And the Black Week comes to an end. I think they all come to an end, yes. We can guarantee the holdings of private individuals, which is minus 100 political power. But also increased consumer goods factories of 8% for 50 days. That's not too bad. Or we can do nothing. Well, we're definitely not doing nothing. I'm going to say close them temporarily. They should have had more assets. That's going to increase the amount of instability, but that one... No, because we want to continue building up our industry, so we're going to close the banks temporarily. France shows its true face. The Reds are clearly set to spread their poison, as they clearly shown during the last session of the elections. We must be prepared for anything. We gain 10,000 manpower. Nice, because a bunch of it just disappeared somewhere. %38% syndicalists, 37% totalists, and 20% anarchists. Alright. Almost minus 300 stability. Wow, that went bad really quickly. Financial troubles in the colonies. Rising inflation has consequently debased the Reichsmark, means the state expenses on German colonies has become too great to maintain pre-Black Monday codes. Some maverick politicians propose raising taxes, but would raising taxes on German nationals just to aid German colonials obviously would not be popular, especially not under the present economic situation. Most of the Reichstag merely proposes limited financial support for our colonial possessions. What should we do? We can raise taxes to appease the needs of the colonies, which means they get bonuses because we're sending them financial hope, but it does cost us another minus 200 political power. Spare expenses only for the colonies under our direct control, which reduces Mittelafrika and Alemannia Ostasien-Gesellschaft. And we get the Cretan question. Or tighten our belts, they'll have to find other sources of income, which is the least political power. Cretan question, status Sri Lanka, get negatives. We want to keep Crete and Sri Lanka if possible because they're very strategically important. So I think we're going to spare expenses only for the colonies under our direct control. The autonomous ones will have to deal with the problem themselves. The Emirate of Afghanistan has declared war on the Dominion of India. Dominion of India being the one in Canada? Yes. So basically Afghanistan's just declared war on the Commonwealth, which is interesting. We're at minus 351. So I think once we have this first national focus, which actually gives us 100 political power, we're going to not get any focuses for a while. Although Heimat Focus and Aftermath of Black Monday both would be quite nice. Heimat Focus just because of the additional political power. It would allow us to recover more quickly. It would cost 70 political power to generate 150, so yes, that is worth doing. So I think that's what we'll do. We need to focus on the problems at home. Germany first. Germany first, as a certain orange man very recently said, to paraphrase him anyway. The Black Week comes to an end. The situation hardly improved in the days following Black Monday, which was the start of what became known as the Black Week. Panic selling of stocks reached an all-time high as people tried to dump their stocks before they became worthless. When the Berlin stock market closed at the end of the week, the market was dead as the 11 major economic experts and top executives in Germany had committed suicide. Oops. The German government had to act. We need to reform the economy. We do indeed. And that's going to be what we do in the next episode. So, thank you very much for watching. If you are enjoying this series, this really is kind of different. I like how, detailed it is. It really evokes a different feeling of this era. It's really cool. If you are enjoying it, then please do hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing. If you have any tips or advice for me, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.